Rainy day here on June 23rd, 2017, around 11:30 in the morning Eastern Time. It's a rainy day here on the Island of Peace and out here in the exurbs in Delaware County. And actually we could use a little rain. Not like those poor guys down on the Gulf Coast that got flooded out and drowned, some of them. Well, this is actually a bit of a Back to the Future video in the sense that if you go back to my very first YouTube video that I put up on December 1st, 2012, I had just recently gotten the computer and I was trying to learn how to use it. And sort of the whole premise of the channel was, well, this is Joe going to be learning how to use his computer. Well, for anybody much over the age of, I imagine, 50 has found out, when you first get a computer, it's like you're going to be learning how to use the daggone thing nearly every day. You'll have periods where you think you've got it, and then you find out, oh, no, I don't know how to do this stuff, or how to do a certain task. So you have to thresh around and figure out how to do it. My son told me one thing. He says, there's not a thing you can do on this computer that's going to break it. I suppose, short of dropping it or putting it in water or something. But when anything you input can always be undone somehow. So that's given me a lot more confidence, and a lot of times you can find multiple workarounds of problem. Whether it's the best way or not, it doesn't really matter as long as you solve the problem. So those of you who might have looked at yesterday's video and said, shit, I can't read that stuff up on the screen and all that kind of stuff. And I figured that might be the case. And I deliberately underexposed it, hoping that the text could come out against the white background. The black text could come out against the white background. That was not the case. Also, the font was too small. I knew the font was going to be too small. But I've been working closer and closer to trying to do this, what I did today. But, I hadn't been able to figure out how to do it. The problem being, if you're going to do a background on a, 40-inch Samsung, or I guess 55-inch Samsung TV screen, I think that's 55 inch. You've got to have, we know we got to have the font big enough. That's obvious no matter what you do. But it's best to have white against a dark background. I myself like blue. I very much like blue. So I horsed around and I horsed around and I horsed around and I used TextEdit and iText Pro and Adobe Reader kept coming into it somehow. I don't know how the fuck that happened. But eventually then what I got was a screenshot in one of the word management programs. I think it was in iText Pro this time. Might have been TextEdit. And was able to put this up on the TV screen. Now I think that looks great. I think that looks perfectly acceptable. I also then decided not to, I wouldn't need to underexpose today, and so I have not. And so I did what I should have been doing all along, is I shot an exposure, I shot a still picture just to check it first off, again, which I should have been doing all along. Then for the exposure I actually used, I have a gray card somewhere, but I can't find it. So I just used a white sheet of paper. Now that's 90% reflectivity. And then you just stop down by 1 or 1.5 stops. In this case I stopped down 1 stop from shooting on on an up close unfocused white sheet of paper gave me. Now, that's just copy paper. That's just 90% reflectivity. You're not going to get 100% white reflectivity pretty much anywhere except maybe in the high Arctic on snow, you know, in high summer. So, I think I figured out my text on screen as background for a video problem. Oh yeah, yay, all right. Well, this, well, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I was kind of prompted to do it today by my good friend Tony Pynchon and also Ed Bennett, who's down in Tennessee, and Tony's in England, and both of whom left very nice, extensive comments on that last video. Both addressing technical issues, well, in Tony's case anyway, and content issues in both of their cases. And I got a huge charge out of that, and I think I've addressed the technical issues that Tony, you know, I mean, they were obvious technical issues, you know, I mean, as I said, I was well aware of, you know, the substandard quality in that regard, but this is how you learn. Insofar as the content about the airline couple, I stand completely by what I say. I mean, I don't like people who whine, and that comes from my background. You know, we were told all we care about. Yeah, it's like all I care about is results. All I care about is results. I don't want to hear your fucking excuses. I don't want to hear you whine about something. Just get the job done. You know, and I don't have much patience for a lot of this stuff. I understand sometimes things go wrong. Well, if things go wrong, then you adapt to them. And don't expect somebody else to adapt them for you. You adapt to them. I mean, I'm very serious about that. The two candles serenely burning on the island of peace. Okay, I think I've cleared up all the loose ends on those various issues, or certainly I've tried to. But somehow I think I'm going to hear more about this. Alrighty, bye-bye guys. No, not bye-bye yet. I spent a delightful hour, well, listening to primarily, because I was trying to figure out this stuff while I was doing it, to my grandson's video, the Eruptor CK, and he was doing an episode of YouTuber's World. Apparently, YouTuber's World has come out with a new character or something, and with new situations to put him in, and so he was working through that, and that's always. First of all, I like that particular gaming series. It's the only one that I mean, most of these other games, I'd rather drive an ice pick into my fucking skull than watch one of those things. But that one I will watch, and of course now he didn't have his picture-in-picture. I mean, YouTuber's World doesn't lend itself to doing picture-in-picture commentary like he does in all his other stuff. But it was fun to hear him. So I'll try to leave a link to his channel if you want to just kind of look in on that kind of stuff for what it's worth. He's always on the hunt for new subscribers and money. So he wants to get into that monetization, with YouTube. Now, okay, bye-bye, YouTubers. And upon further review, as I started to put this thing together, I've learned something else. Data is good. Experience is good. As I said, I took some still photographs before I put up what you have just seen that were absolutely fine, not dark at all. Although I myself, and this is my own little quirk, I like growing up in the era of Kodachrome slides, where you almost always underexposed by a half f-stop in order to bring out the richness of the Kodachrome. I still tend to do that habitually. But what I'm learning is that when you're shooting movie files as opposed to still pictures are a completely standard game. You meter it, you shoot it. But with this movie stuff, at least on the Leica, at least as far as the Leica is concerned, I had been unconsciously overexposing by a half f-stop when I was in doubt. These gnats drive me nuts. And I deliberately did not do that today. And I'm beset on all sides. And I deliberately did not do that today. And okay, so we'll see, I mean, you're inside, you couldn't go out. One of my fluorescent lights won't work. All right. Excuses. All I care about is results.